President Joe Biden just changed his mind on a few key aspects of the stimulus bill. We're going to be talking about that in this video about the stimulus news update for today, February 6, 2021. For those who don't know, my name is Kevin Conway. I make stimulus news update videos all the time, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and give a like to this video if it helped you out in any way. Just a quick like helps get the video out to more people and spreads the word, so if you can give a like, I'd really appreciate it. With that being said, let's get right into why Joe Biden changed his mind and what he changed his mind about. As of yesterday, we got Joe Biden answering questions to the press. He was specifically asked about the stimulus checks. Now, for everybody out there, we know that $2,000 was promised as a stimulus check if the Democrats won the 2 seats in Georgia. Joe Biden has said, well, we're going to get $2,000 by adding $1,400 to the check that was delivered in December. And that looks to still be the case, but not for everybody. Joe Biden said, quote, "We're going to keep the stimulus checks at $1,400. I'm not cutting the size of the checks, period." That is what he said about the $1,400 stimulus checks, which is good news. But the problem is the $1,400 checks are not going to go to everybody out there. They're going to be targeted to low and middle income Americans. Joe Biden went and said that he is willing to negotiate the size of the stimulus checks for certain people, but not the total size of eligibility if you fully qualify. Meaning, if you make below a certain amount of money, you're going to be getting the full $1,400 check, but not everybody under the last scenario will get the full $1,400 check. The new income cutoffs are rumored to be $50,000 for individuals and $100,000 for married couples filing jointly. Let me know what you guys think about that cutoff in the comments below. The size of the checks are going to be much bigger than any other check of stimulus that we've gotten before, but they're going to go only to those people who are making low and middle incomes according to the government. Let me know what you think about that solution, a bipartisan solution, if you will, because they're cutting the eligibility for high-income Americans and leaving it for the low and middle income Americans. But I'm sure some of you will probably be left out, especially those living in high-cost living areas. And while you may be earning a decent income, it is not enough to get by where you are, and you could really use that stimulus check. Let me know in the comments below. The second thing that Joe Biden just changed his mind on in an effort to pass this bill with at least some Republican support is the minimum wage at the federal level. The $15 minimum wage that was pushed by the Democrats is no longer on the table for Joe Biden and the Democrats. Joe Biden said that he is not going to be pushing for the $15 an hour minimum wage anymore because it looks like they're going to have to pass this bill via reconciliation. And because they're passing it via reconciliation, it's unlikely the $15 an hour minimum wage will make it in there anyway. In fact, the Republicans went and passed a successful amendment late in the hours on Friday morning saying that no federal $15 an hour minimum wage will be passed during the pandemic. The Democrats said this is not exactly that big of a deal because we weren't going to pass $15 an hour minimum wage immediately across the board. We were going to gradually scale up to it, and it wouldn't go in full force and effect during the pandemic anyway, so it's kind of a lot of hot air. But that looks to be the case, that $15 an hour minimum wage is no longer on the table. Even though it was pushed by the Joe Biden administration earlier on, it is no longer on the table for this stimulus bill. So what is the support for the stimulus bill and when might it pass? Well, the support is going to be pretty much along party lines. At least that's how it looks right now. The Democrats are going to be forced to use a process known as budget reconciliation, which means that they only can pass bills that have provisions in there that are not merely incidental to the budget of the United States federal government. That means that there cannot be things like the $15 an hour minimum wage attached to that bill, because the $15 an hour minimum wage may affect tax collections in a positive or negative way, but that's incidental to the budget. It's not money being spent from the budget on a program and therefore cannot be passed via reconciliation. Reconciliation allows a simple majority to pass bills, meaning just more than 50 votes. So 50 votes plus a tiebreaker of Vice President Kamala Harris is all you need to pass a bill via reconciliation, versus the normal scenario where the House can pass things via a simple majority, but the Senate needed to pass things with 60 votes. Right now we have 50-50 split Democrat-Republican, so getting 60 votes would require 10 Republicans to join the Democrats, and that looks less and less likely to happen with each and every passing day. Now, for what it's worth, Bernie Sanders says he thinks that they can pass $15 an hour minimum wage via reconciliation because he thinks it would have a more than merely incidental impact to the budget. But Nancy Pelosi disagrees with him, and so do the vast majority of political pundits and economists out there. They think that it will not be included in this. I would not bank on that. That's what we've been saying for quite some time. Now, where's the status of the stimulus bill and when might it pass? Well, Joe Biden said that I see enormous pain in this country right before the House of Representatives officially passed a version of a budget maneuver to allow the House to actually craft the bill for the stimulus. What does that mean? They're looking by the end of February for the House to pass the stimulus bill and then go to the Senate, where the Senate is also right now working on their own bill in order to reconcile the two and pass the package and send to Joe Biden for his signature by the beginning part of March. Why is that significant? Because the beginning part of March is when the unemployment benefits of $300 per week, that federal boost, are set to expire. That's why it is so important that the stimulus bill, which also includes unemployment insurance extension until September, more than likely, it passes in that time frame. So we know that the Senate approved the fast track measure for reconciliation late in the morning on Friday, which has set them up to be able to propose a bill and get it passed by March. Things are on track for that time period, and that's pretty much where we are on the stimulus bill. The stimulus bill also is picking up momentum on both sides of the aisle, even the size of it being $1.9 trillion, because we're having very negative news of the economy out right now. The Labor Department just announced that only 6,000 private sector jobs were created in January. 6,000 out of a country of 320 million people. We are still 10 million jobs below pre-pandemic levels, which means that there's still a huge amount of unemployed people out there and economic activity that is not going that otherwise would have been had we not had this pandemic, which means that a stimulus bill is going to have a lot of support on both sides of the aisle. Now, a quick political news update, a few things that I found very interesting while researching this video is that President Joe Biden is not going to be giving former President Trump any intelligence briefings while Joe Biden is president. Now, this departs from a long history of presidents giving former presidents intelligence briefings after the former president leaves office, but Joe Biden has said that he does not trust Trump's erratic behavior and he cannot be trusted with that sensitive information. I found that to be very interesting, and former President Trump's impeachment trial is set to begin this week. So we're going to see how all of that comes together when it comes to passing a stimulus bill or any other bill. It is a very partisan time out there right now. According to everybody, you can see that the Democrats and the Republicans have big issues with one another. I highly doubt that they're going to be able to come together for a stimulus bill that does not pass on strict party lines. So that's pretty much the news update today for the stimulus check and stimulus package negotiations. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, I'll be making subsequent videos. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see, whether it's on the EIDL grant program of $10,000, the PPP loan program, unemployment insurance, or other personal financing, such as how to invest in real estate and generate passive income, and what the heck is going on with GameStop and the stock market in general. Leave your comments below. I love getting suggestions so that I can make subsequent videos, and be sure to like this video if it helped you out in any way. I'll see you next time. Thanks.